Hello, the story I am going to share with you today takes place in Ibaraki Prefecture, Japan. Located in the northeastern part of the Kanto Plain, Ibaraki is known for its developed agriculture and fishing industries. It ranks second in Japan in terms of cultivated area. In the northeast of Ibaraki Prefecture lies a city named Hitachiota. Our story begins in a forested mountain area north of Hitachiota. On June 18, 2022, a Saturday, the local police were investigating a case in a mountainous forest in the north of Hitachiota, Ibaraki Prefecture. During their search, they discovered a girl hanging from a tree, unclothed, handcuffed, with her face disfigured. The police speculated that she had fallen from a mountain behind her and landed on a tree. The location where the girl was found was near a site called Ikuta Falls, a secluded area surrounded by dense forest. The autopsy revealed that the girl had bruises on her face and wrists, likely caused by the handcuffs, with no clear injuries to other parts of her body. She had a fractured hyoid bone, a horseshoe-shaped bone situated at the front of the neck between the chin and the thyroid cartilage, typically indicative of strangulation. The cause of death was determined to be asphyxiation. She had died approximately 2 to 3 weeks prior, and the police quickly ascertained that the site of discovery was not the original scene of the crime. It was clear that the girl had been brought there. This was not a case of suicide but a homicide. The next step for the police was to identify the victim. 10 days before the discovery, on June 8, 2022, a couple from Tokyo reported to the police that their 23-year-old daughter had left home on June 5 to 6 and had not returned for 3 days. They were unable to contact her, so they requested police assistance in locating her. After verification, it was confirmed that the missing person was the girl found in the forest later. The victim was named Arano Rina, born in 1999 in Tokyo. At that time, she was 23 years old and lived with her family in an apartment in the Bunkyo district, Tokyo. Bunkyo is located southwest of the city of Hitachiota, about 100 kilometers from the crime scene. Rina had grown up in a family where her needs were well provided for. She had an older sister, and the family of 4 lived a peaceful and happy life together. Her father worked for a pharmaceutical company specializing in drugs for Alzheimer's and schizophrenia. Her mother was a homemaker, elegant and as beautiful as a model. From a young age, Rina was a sweet and adorable girl, the darling of her family. Cheerful, lively, and active, she loved singing and dancing. During her elementary school years, Rina joined the dance club and achieved high marks in school dance competitions. Perhaps influenced by her father, Rina dreamed of becoming a pharmacist, thinking it would be wonderful to work hard to save a cancer patient. After graduating from elementary school, Rina attended a combined middle and high school. She made new friends and was exposed to new things. Rina gradually became interested in fashion, music, and shopping. She began to care about her appearance, hoping her skin would become brighter and smoother. She often went shopping with friends in the Harajuku district of Tokyo on holidays. In high school, Rina's grades began to decline. She was not focused on her studies and subsequently did not pass her university entrance exams. Amid arrangements made by her parents, Rina attended a medical training school. Perhaps because the coursework was too difficult and tedious, she could not focus on her studies. At that time, Rina had forgotten her initial dream of becoming a pharmacist. She often skipped classes and even rebelled against her parents. At the age of 19, despite her parents' objections, Rina decided to drop out of school. After a fallout with her family, she left her home in Bunkyo and moved to an apartment in Shinjuku near Kabukicho to live alone. To lessen her loneliness, she adopted a cat for company. Later, Rina found a job mixing drinks in Kabukicho, a district known for its adult nightlife. However, after paying rent and living expenses, her earnings were insufficient. Living alone away from her parents increased her expenses significantly, and spending on clothes and cosmetics became not just small change anymore. Rina wanted to earn more money, and the material temptations grew increasingly attractive to her. Therefore, she used a stage name and secretly worked as a freelance model without signing with a management company. This meant she modeled on her own, promoted herself, and managed her shooting schedules independently, even participating in adult video, AV, shoots. AV stands for adult video. The payment could significantly vary depending on the model's popularity and conditions such as whether the face is shown or not. Models with high fees could earn over 200,000 yen per shoot. With Rina's initial fame, she earned over 100,000 yen per shoot. Rina also set up her own fan club and could earn over 1 million yen a month. Because there was no management company to provide protection, freelance models often had to deal directly with clients. If participating in private AV shoots, the filming partner was mostly male, and there could be just 2 people in the room. Even during the filming process, there might be a need to intensify the filming content, which could lead to controversy. Additionally, freelance models might have to go to places they had never been before, and sometimes they might not even know the identity of their partner. Thus, unavoidable potential risks were present. Yet, Rina chose to pursue this career. To avoid photographers changing the content during shooting, she would discuss details with the partner before the appointment and only agree to meet once the partner committed to her terms. During a chance incident, her family accidentally saw photos of her wearing clothes at a cave, which made her parents very angry. But Rina retorted that she was only modeling fashion, thus had to wear those outfits. After some explanation, her parents believed her and let it go. In 2021, when Rina was 22 years old, she decided to move back home with her parents. She wanted to gradually change her lifestyle and work. She wanted to get married, have children, and live a normal life like any other woman. Therefore, she planned to gradually withdraw from the modeling industry. Unfortunately, Rina could not wait for that day to come. On June 8, 2022, Rina's parents reported to the police that their daughter had been missing for 3 days. According to her parents, on the morning of June 5, Rina dressed neatly and put on makeup, then told me she was going out to meet a friend. After that, she left the house alone. By the evening, when I had finished preparing dinner, my husband and eldest daughter, who had been at work all day, also returned home, but we still had not seen Rina. We felt a bit uneasy because we had called her many times, but her phone was always off. At first, my family thought her phone might have run out of battery, but that night she did not come home. For the next 2 consecutive days, her phone remained off. Even her close friends did not know where she was. Concerned that she might encounter something bad, we decided to report to the police. After receiving the report, the police conducted an investigation and restored Rina's movement trajectory on June 5. That morning, Rina took the train to Ibaraki and arrived at Mito Station around 10 a.m. Then, at the north exit of Mito Station, she got into a silver car driven by a man and moved to the city of Hitachiota in the northeast of Ibaraki Prefecture. Based on Rina's online profile, she had an appointment with a man on the day she left home, and that man was the photographer she had met before. Based on the surveillance cameras around Mito Station, the police found the license plate of the silver car and confirmed the identity of the car owner, Hiroyuki Sanpei, a 33-year-old man residing in the city of Minamiya-Shigara, Kanagawa Prefecture. When the police found Sanpei, he said, "On June 5, I indeed met Rina. I picked her up at Mito Station and then took her to a villa in Hitachiota. This villa I bought in 2016, but now I only use it occasionally and rarely stay there. Rina and I conducted a photo shoot there for a short period of time. Since we had collaborated there once in March, the shoot went very smoothly and was quickly completed. When the shoot ended in the afternoon of that day, I drove Rina to the front of an agricultural association 920 meters southwest of my villa, then I drove away. Where she went after that, I do not know." After obtaining the above clue, the investigators immediately went to Sanpei's villa, located at the foot of a mountain with beautiful scenery and fresh air. The villa has 2 floors, with a road in front of the house, a hot spring center to the southwest, and a sports park to the east, according to neighbors around Sanpei's villa. 6 years ago, in 2016, Sanpei bought the villa above. He and his wife lived there for a while before they divorced. Sanpei then left and would occasionally come here once every 2 months and sometimes stay for a few days. In the past 2 to 3 years, he frequently brought different women to the villa. No one knew specifically what he was doing. Just a week before, he had come here with a woman who looked pretty and cute, and that woman was none other than Rina. This time, Sanpei had lived in the villa for a few days before leaving. The distance from the villa to Rina's home in Bunkyo, Tokyo is about 130 kilometers. Sanpei once said, "That day, I drove Rina to the Agricultural Association 920 meters away from the villa." With the information provided, the police used Rina's photo to ask local residents and passers-by in the area. One resident said, "At noon on June 5th, I saw Sanpei driving the silver car here with a woman who looked very much like Ms. Rina. But that afternoon, no one saw him driving by here anymore, nor did they see a woman who looked like her pass by." From this, it can be seen that everything Sanpei said was just his one-sided testimony and no one could verify it. The police continued to contact Sanpei to request to search the villa. After entering the villa, there was a long hallway, with a bedroom on the left and a living room on the right. At the end of the left hallway was a staircase leading to the second floor and possibly to the basement. On the first floor of the villa, the astute investigators discovered a mobile phone that was later confirmed to be Rina's, which she had dropped. Regarding the situation above, Sanpei explained, "I do not know anything. Maybe she forgot to take her phone when she left that day." Since Sanpei was the number one suspect, the police confiscated his phone and took it to the station for investigation. Technicians examined and restored data on Sanpei's mobile phone. The results revealed a large number of AV videos, including videos of Rina being held captive in a suffocating, dark environment. From the information, the geographical location recorded in the video confirmed that Rina was in Sanpei's villa at that time. After obtaining critical evidence, on June 14, 9 days after Rina went missing, the police went to an apartment building in the city of Minami Ashigara, Kanagawa Prefecture, and officially arrested Sanpei on suspicion of unlawful detention. After obtaining a search warrant, the investigators went to Sanpei's villa to conduct a more detailed search. They collected several strands of hair on a quilt on the first floor and discovered a damp mattress in the bathroom on the second floor that looked like it had just been cleaned. Later, Rina's DNA was found on the mattress. At the same time, a pickaxe full of dirt and dozens of hairs were found in the basement. After forensic examination, it was confirmed that the strands of hair belonged to Sanpei and Rina. Based on the clues obtained, the police speculated that Rina might have been held captive or even murdered by Sanpei. That day, the two filmed in the basement of the villa. After the filming, Sanpei did not let Rina leave but held her in the basement. Then, Sanpei took Rina out of the villa and hid her somewhere. After being arrested, Sanpei admitted, "I handcuffed Rina during the filming process, but I only did so with her consent." Sanpei denied killing Rina and expressed, "I do not know her current whereabouts." The police based on Sanpei's driving record and determined that he had once driven to a forest 2 kilometers northeast of the villa. The location was at the end of a forest road, so the investigation team began walking along the site to search. 4 days after Sanpei was arrested, on June 18, 2022, they found Rina in a lowland area near Ikuta Falls, north of where Sanpei parked. She was hanging from a tree with both hands handcuffed, showing no signs of life. It was speculated that she had been thrown down the mountain. The location where Rina was found was 136 kilometers away from her home and 2.4 kilometers away from Sanpei's villa. Around the area, the police discovered newly dug holes, empty cans, and duct tape. After testing in the laboratory, the soil in the holes was determined to have the same composition as the soil on the hoe in the basement of Sanpei's villa. Sanpei's DNA was extracted from the can, and Nina's DNA was extracted from the duct tape. In addition, the material and style of the duct tape were also the same as the type found in Sanpei's villa. All evidence pointed to Sanpei as the main culprit. The perpetrator, Sanpei, was born in the city of Koriyama, the center of Fukushima Prefecture, in September 1988. At the time of the crime, he was 33 years old and the eldest child in a family of 3 children. Sanpei came from a well-off family. His father was a distinguished employee at a major company. His mother had once owned a hair salon and later became a homemaker. When Sanpei was still in kindergarten, his father was sent to the United States to work as a technical advisor at an automobile parts manufacturing plant, leading the whole family to move to Ohio. The climate in Ohio was cold, and initially, they struggled to adapt, facing several health issues upon their arrival. However, as time passed, the family lived in Ohio for 8 years. In 2001, when Sanpei was 13 years old, his father concluded his work in the US and moved the family back to Japan, settling in Koriyama, Fukushima Prefecture, where they built a new home. Upon returning to his homeland, Sanpei enrolled in a public high school. Having lived in the US for quite some time, his English was very good. Although not very tall, Sanpei was an excellent basketball player and joined the school's basketball club. He was popular and admired at school, and his classmates praised him as a prodigy in both academics and athletics, but his aggressive nature also began to show during this period. According to a close friend, Sanpei had a volatile temper, often becoming angry and even throwing things around at home, which was a stark contrast to his behavior at school. In 2003, at the age of 15, Sanpei graduated from junior high school with excellent academic achievements and was admitted to Shoshi High School. Later, he represented his school in a national high school championship. After graduating from high school, as arranged by his parents, Sanpei studied abroad at the University of South Alabama in the U.S. After earning his degree. He returned to Japan and found a job near his home for a company that traded in semiconductors and chemicals. Sanpei was involved in improving production line designs, worked diligently and seriously, and was promoted to department head within less than 2 years. During this time, Sanpei married a classmate from his high school days. After getting married, in November 2016, at the age of 28, he borrowed 14 million yen to buy a villa in Hitachiota, northeastern Ibaraki Prefecture, which later became the site where he imprisoned and murdered Rina. A month after buying the villa, on December 2, 2016, Sanpei was arrested on suspicion of assaulting a police officer. Over the next 2 months, he continually caused disturbances and was arrested multiple times. In January 2017, Sanpei raped a woman on the streets of Hitachiota. Subsequently, he was arrested on suspicion of assault causing injury and improper conduct. On January 25, 2017, he was again arrested for raping another woman. Faced with multiple charges, Sanpei managed to escape prosecution, paying high settlement fees with his parents' help. After reaching a settlement, he was not prosecuted, and his repeated escapes from jail opened a path for him to commit more severe crimes in the future. After several unrepentant disturbances, his wife filed for divorce. After the divorce, they no longer had any contact. Sanpei moved out of the house in Hitachiota, Ibaraki, and relocated to Minamiya Shigata in western Kanagawa, 2 areas separated by 200 kilometers. Afterward, Sanpei worked at a local film company but eventually quit after some time. Since then, he became addicted to social networking and constantly engaged in filming and photographing with AV actresses to satisfy his desires. 4 months before the incident, in mid-February 2022, 33-year-old Sanpei connected with 23-year-old Rina on Twitter due to a modeling photo shoot opportunity he posted. The shoot was scheduled between February 23 to 27, or March 2 to 6, in Hitachiota, Ibaraki, offering a fee of 60,000 yen for 3 hours. Meanwhile, Rina also received a shooting invitation from Tokyo Bunkyo World, which required her to travel 2.5 hours by train to the shooting location in Ibaraki. Under similar conditions, but Rina's fee would be no less than 100,000 yen, while Sanpei was only offering 60,000 yen. Therefore, Rina initially declined Sanpei's offer. However, he did not give up and continued to negotiate with Rina, eventually agreeing on a fee of 120,000 yen. By early March, they completed their first transaction and have stayed in touch since. On the day of the incident, June 5, was their second transaction. Like the previous time, Rina took the train to Hitachiota in Ibaraki and then went to Sanpei's villa. That day, Sanpei took Rina down to the basement of the villa, where he had prepared all the filming equipment and accessories. The basement was bare except for a mattress. Sanpei enjoyed SM filming and had prepared various props like handcuffs, ropes, and whips. At 11 a.m., during the filming process, Sanpei handcuffed Rina and used his phone to record the entire sensitive process. During the filming, Sanpei couldn't control himself. he put his arm around Rina's neck and strangled her to death. After committing the crime, Sanpei was terrified, so he disfigured Rina's face to make it hard to identify and dumped her body in a forested mountain area 2.4 kilometers from the villa. When he was caught, he only admitted to having handcuffed the victim and denied the act of murder. It wasn't until June 18, 2022, based on the recording data from his car, that Rina's body was finally found and he confessed to all his crimes. A classmate of Sanpei mentioned that Sanpei was a student who had returned from the US, and his family was quite wealthy. Because of his father's job, he had returned to Japan with his family and completed his junior high and high school education in the city of Koriyama, Fukushima Prefecture. To those around him, he seemed like a very well-behaved child who never caused trouble. But all this changed significantly after he grew up. It's unclear whether it was related to his later experiences studying abroad. Sanpei started to frequently harass women, and even though he was caught and punished by the police, he never repented. A local resident living near Sanpei's villa said, after he and his wife moved here to live, Sanpei often smiled and greeted neighbors. I had never seen him frown. He seemed like a very simple, kind, and easygoing person, leaving no bad impression on others. According to a statement from a neighbor who knew Sanpei, he began to behave abnormally in high school, often getting angry at his parents and throwing things around in the middle of the night. Sanpei's grandfather sadly stated, Sanpei's father was busy with work and never cared about his son's education or life. Perhaps it was the lack of his father's love during his upbringing that caused the boy to develop an abnormal personality. Ultimately, the boy committed a heinous crime that was unforgivable. As of the time the case was reported, the case had not yet been tried in court. However, it can be confirmed that Sanpei will face strict legal punishment. Among many countries, there is a focus on developing content for those with a passion for skin and flesh. Japan is a country with the most famous AV film industry. The Japanese AV industry is considered to have the largest scale on the planet, accounting for 20% of this industry's global share and bringing in billions of dollars in revenue each year. Long ago, AV films have been regarded as one of the characteristics when mentioning Japan, so while prostitution is banned, the AV industry is legalized. In the Japanese showbiz industry, Arano Rina was a model, freelance actress, and a beloved AV star among men. She often took bold photo shoots, including nude photos, and set a price of 100,000 Japanese yen for each session. Additionally, Rina also took on bold roles, containing many hot elements. According to the newspaper, See the People, she also earned about 1,000 United States dollars for a photo on an 18-plus paid platform. Alongside its growth, the dark side and risks of this industry are also not few, as exemplified by Rina's case. Despite the many hidden corners and potential risks after this lucrative industry, many Japanese girls still choose to pursue this challenging career path. Everyone has their appropriate choices at a particular time, and time will help each person answer all the lingering doubts in their hearts. But sometimes it may be too late to turn back. Today's video ends here, and see you in the next videos.